Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Crossfade and I'll be showing you today how to use FL Studios. If you don't know what FL Studios is, it is basically a DAW, which stands for a digital audio workstation, and this is basically what producers use to add effects and all sorts of stuff before they produce it. You know, you don't just raw record something and then slap it on the internet. That's not how it works anymore. So I'm using FL Studio 12. If you have a lower version like 10 or 11, I don't know if you can do certain things in that, and the plugins I'm going to be using for this tutorial anyway are going to be the stock plugins. I'm just going to show you kind of get around today. So if you're going to record something, you're going to come up here to Options, Audio Settings, and you're going to set this to one of these two. I'm not going to do that right now because if I recorded through this, you wouldn't hear me right now. But just make sure you do this. What that'll do is that'll lower your buffer length and give you less latency. What latency is if you have a MIDI keyboard hooked up, the time you press the key, it's got to send it into computer, convert it, send it back, convert it again into your headphones, and there's a little bit of delay there, so it's not going to hear it as soon as you press it, and that's what latency is. But if you do it through these Audio things instead of your sound card or your headphones or whatever, it'll get rid of that latency. And I'll show you another way to do that. You can go to the mixer up here. This is, you always want to have this on. This button, I have it on my other screen. This is your channel rack. This is how you're going to add different sounds, route them to the mixer, and I'll show you that in a second, and control beats and stuff like that. Alright, we'll get rid of that. This is the piano roll. Say I come here and hit this plus, we can add, see, FL keys. That's a beginner. It's something really easy to use. It's a piano. You know, you can right click it, go to piano roll. Oops. And if you ever do something like that, just hit this and you'll go back to it. And you can click and add notes and stuff. If you come to the edge of the note, you can adjust the length of it. You can hold Control and then left click and drag to select multiple notes. And then if you go in the middle, you can move that selected group of notes. If you control and click and then hit shift, hold down shift and click, it'll duplicate them and move that. Alright, and just delete them. The same thing applies with, if you hit control and click, you can control C, control V, stuff like that, but it's just a lot more efficient to do it like this, you know. So that's one tip. Say if you have a melody like this, it doesn't reach the whole thing. Instead of going like this, oops, instead of selecting the whole thing and then dragging them like that, what you can do is select them and Alt L, and that will articulate these two notes to be, what it'll do is it'll run it into it hits another note. So that's kind of useful instead of having to drag multiple things. If you have a chord, let's see, C chord right quick, like that, and so we have multiple of these or whatever, and you only want it to delete these. What you can do is, if you try to do it like this, you would delete the center section. You can hold down right click and just go down, and Control Z will undo, and then Control Alt Z will undo multiple steps. Or you can Control click, also hold shift, and you can click a separate thing. It's not going to make a box, and then you could delete those or whatever. So that's a little bit of tips for the piano roll. Here, this is just your browser, which is where you'll find plugins. To do that and different sounds, you can come up here, hit this, collapse everything just so you don't have a bunch of things open that you don't know what they are. Come down to packs, say instruments, keyboards, and here's your selections. Now if you click it, you're not going to hear a sound. That's because you have to put them into the channel rack. So come up here, hit this again, drag you piano or whatever to here. Wait for it to go. Okay. And you're going to see how it's blank here. All these are 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to scroll up on your mouse wheel till that says 5. And here's the importance of that. If you hit this thing, view mixer, and I have it on my other screen. See if I can get the smaller version. Here we go. You will see channel inserts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is your piano. So if I'm playing something, you can fade it down, you know, and you won't hear it. It's very important to learn from the very start to mount all your different sounds to their individual tracks on the mixer, because if you don't, then it gets very hectic and just not fun to do when you're recording. You can also change certain things with a mixer. You can come here. This is probably what yours looks like, this big old glob, and you're like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, me too. You don't need 100 channels. You can come here and go to like extra large. That's what I use, and then you can resize it. You can also rename them like so. Change their colors. If you hit Control, you can Control and Shift. You can select multiple ones. Then you can probably create a group. That's my group, and it'll apply that effect to all of these, and it'll put a separator in between that. So that's another little tip. Say you've done something to one and you messed up. Well, what you can do is right click on an empty slot, file, save this as, and then type in blank. Here, I'll show you this, save it as blank like I've done this one. Then come to here, file, open, blank, and it'll do that. Now I don't think you can do that with multiples. Nope, you'd have to do that individually, but you know, at least you can kind of go back. Same thing with here. If you add an effect that you don't know what it is, this is a really good effect by the way, but you want to get rid of it. Instead of just turning it off, what you can do by hitting the little green thing over here, you can come here, replace with none, and it'll get rid of it. So yeah, just like with the channel mixer, hitting these little things will turn it off. You can come here and also hit piano roll if you don't feel like clicking that. And say you're making a beat with this kick. This is a really bad kick, but instead of coming in here, clicking all these individually, you can also hold down left mouse, do like that, and same as deleting, you can hold down right mouse, and it'll do that. Or you can right click, come over here and fill each 4, each 2, each 8, you know, it just makes it a lot quicker, you know. Working inside a DAW is all about efficiency. You could sit here for hours and not have very little done if you get too clustered. And that is exactly what happened to me when I first started making my first song. And it also happened to me because I didn't put all my different channels in the channel rack. I still gotta show you how to do that too. Say you want this piano to here. We have it on 5, so it'll be this one. So, but say you want it to say piano and all this on this one. You could change this to 1, but now you're going to have your kick and piano there. So you can just click it so it's like pressed in. Go to the channel you want, right click, channel routing, and then route to this, and it'll do that. So it's a little tip for you there. While we're in the mixer, this is your master. You do not want to put anything on your master. Like, don't record to your master, don't put your reverb and all that on your master. Do all that on your side tracks, and then all that, you'll see this little, go back, see this little green arrow thing? If I can stretch that out, no, it's not going to show. All these channels link to the master. Say you're recording a song, and what I talked about earlier with latency, microphones is a little bit different. You'll always kind of have a little bit and you'll hear yourself back. But what you can do is to record, first off, you're going to hit this little red thing. You'll come over here, and you have to be on FL Studio Audio in your audio settings. But I'm not going to change it because you won't hear my thing. Then you can hit your mic 1 or mic 2 inputs. That's what I'll say, you just have to trust me on it, but don't do the 1 and 2, because then it will record a stereo effect with just your mono microphone and it'll sound weird. Just do 1 or 2. And then you can hit this, that'll disconnect it from the master and you won't hear it back in your ears. But make sure to put it back on there when you're done recording so you can hear it. You know, you can record a whole song and be like, oh, where'd my audio go? That's why. There's a lot of little simple in and out things in FL Studios that if you don't know what you did or how to fix it, like, it can be very frustrating. I think that's just about it. Oops. I think that's just about it, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and my next episode will probably be a song release and some chord progression and music theory videos. My name is Crossfade, and stay tuned for next time, guys. Peace.